Alright, YouTube, it is the Bat Nerd, and I am back with another Bat Nerd reviews, and as I said, it is the Fantastic Four. First Steps. Written by Josh Friedman, Eric Parson, Jeff Kaplan, and Ian Springer, and Cat Wood. Directed by Mark Shakeman, based on the Fantastic Four by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, starring Pedro Pascal, Venessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach or something, Joseph Quinn, Julie Garner, Sarah Niles, Mark Gatiss, Natasha, Lyonne, Paul Walter Hauser, and Ralph Ineson. So this is set in its own universe on Earth 828 in 1964, where the Fantastic Four, 4 years after they became the super family, they have become worldwide celebrities, loved by everyone as they're protected by them. And then, of course, Sue and Reed are expecting their first child, Franklin Richards. And of course, Ben and Johnny are over the moon, and then they find that there is this being, the Silver Surfer. This time it being not Conrad, but his wife. His wife. That's it. Shalabal, who is now a Silver Surfer, and we know the backstory of all that as well with her. She provided her Herald ship to Galactus to spare her world, even though it was Conrad that did it, but in this is the way around. And of course, she warns them that their planet is marked for death, and they face Galactus, and he will spare their world if he has their child, Franklin Richards. And of course, they then have to try and find a way to stop Galactus from getting to the Earth and, stop him. And of course, they do find a way via a teleportation machine. And then, of course, they save the day. They get to be a family. And then we get a mid-credits scene where Franklin comes face to face with a man in a cloak with a metal mask. We all know who that is, obviously. And of course, we then get a post-credit scene of the 1960s animation show where Herbie switches it off. So, yeah, what did I like about this one? Well, after 31 years and 5 movies, they got it right. The 1994 film was never released. 2005 was okay, did well enough to get a sequel. 2015, unwatchable, just awful. And this one, yeah, I loved the 1960s setting, the retro 60s stuff they had going on. It looked so cool and I liked it. And I also loved, this New York, how it was set in its own alternate universe. And how it didn't feel like homework. It was set in its own universe, completely different to the main MCU we've watched for nearly 20 years now. But yeah, I like the setting. I also liked that they did what a lot of superheroes movies are starting to do now, skipping the backstory that we already know. Yes, that's what I like. Maybe in a quick recap that can tell us, but other than that, we know how they became the heroes, so let's skip that and get straight to it. I love that they got straight to the point. We also had Mole Man in this as well, who wasn't as antagonistic as we know him to be. We also get a mention of the Red Ghost, who was played by John Malkovich, but his scene got cut from the final film, but he is mentioned with his super apes. So yeah, and he does get a cameo in the opening cartoon credits in the post-credits scene. But yeah, I thought, the rest of the team, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, The Thing, everyone, they just got it right this time. they got it right, and that's what I loved about it. They got it right, and they knew that what us fans wanted. And yeah, using the multiverse saga to set in its own universe, sure, why not? I really love this one. It was about how long was it? Um, it was literally under 2 hours. It was 114 minutes. I don't think I've seen a Marvel film that short since what? Ant-Man? But like I say, it ran under the 2 hour mark, which I really loved. Just shows you can still tell a good story and not rush things if you do it right, and they did. I also like Julie Gardner as the Silver Surfer. I didn't mind the gender change. And Conrad could still be out there. I like the visual effects on her, and she looked great. And also, Ralph Ineson as Galactus. Man, he was huge. And let's just say, this upgrade was a huge improvement from the last time we saw Galactus in the movie, where he was a big space cloud. That was a little bit of a letdown, but I'm glad they learned from their mistakes and they got it right. And so much love went into this, and I'm so glad they did. Marvel had a rough patch with Phase 4 and started to improve with Phase 5. I think they're back on it now, but still, they should be wary of DC, because Superman and that. But yes, Fantastic Four, First Steps, just such a great movie. A great way to kick off Phase 6, and the beginning of the end for the multiverse saga. Next year we have Avengers Doomsday, and then it will conclude in 2027 with Secret Wars. It's been a bit of a mess, this whole multiverse saga, given the firing of Jonathan Majors and the flops that they've had since post-Endgame, but I think they're gradually getting back on their feet, but, Marvel have proved that they've still got a bit of juice left. But this one, I did enjoy. I enjoyed this one. It was entertaining, quite fast-paced, great visual effects, great cast, and, some good action in there. And how it didn't just have Doctor Doom as the villain like they'd done in the other movies. But there is a reference to Latveria, and be sure to stick around for that mid-credits scene, because it could play an important part in Doomsday. As it says, the Avengers will return in Doomsday. There is another post-credits scene, like I say, where they show the 1960s animation opening credits, but that's nothing important. You can stick around for it if you want to. But yeah, Fantastic Four, First Steps. What am I gonna rate this one? You know what? It gets 4 batarangs out of 5 from me. 4 batarangs out of 5 for the Fantastic Four First Steps. So there you go. That is the beginning of Phase 6. And yeah, have you seen this one? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are linked down below in the description, so you can check all that out. I have been the Bat Nerd, and this has been Bat Nerd Reviews. So until next time, Bat Nerd out.